Hello again, my name is Steve Smith and I am the CEO of Association Management Center. And it's great to be back with you today to continue our conversation around how boards and their staff can work together to navigate through unexpected changes that occur while you're serving your organizations and your associations. And so today I am joined with two of my colleagues. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I'll start with Leah.
Everyone, I'm Leah Zamora. I have two roles at AMC. I'm the Vice President of Client Success with a few execs reporting into me, and I am the Executive Director for two nursing organizations related to neuro. I've been with AMC a bit over 12 years at this point.
Thanks, Leah. And Linda?
And I'm the newest kid on the block. I just joined AMC a few months ago as the Chief Strategy Officer.
It's great to have you with us. Thank you both for joining me today. So I'm going to start by asking a question of Linda, and I'm wondering if you could help us think through what some strategies or techniques could be for boards who are experiencing uncertainty related to changes that are occurring from the government. These could be changes in policy or regulations, and they could be things that happen at either the federal or the state level. And so what should boards be doing as these things are unfolding?
Well, a couple of things come to mind. First, scenario planning and policy monitoring are a couple of things that I've given some thought to. Boards can proactively analyze political or potential regulatory changes and prepare strategic responses. This can involve regularly engaging in scenario planning to anticipate potential government changes. Also, perhaps track legislative developments where possible, engage with policy experts, as well as prepare contingency plans that will allow the board to adapt quickly. Second, it's important to strengthen relationships with policymakers, industry coalitions, and legal advisors to ensure the association's voice is heard in policy discussions. Particularly advocating for members' interests can help mitigate risk and position the association as thought leaders in shaping regulations. Even without dedicated lobbying budgets, boards can influence policy through grassroots efforts and coalition building. And I think the third thing is that we all recognize that uncertainty may require quick decisions, perhaps considering implementing a more flexible governance structure that allows for quick decision making. For example, empowering the executive committee to act on urgent matters or creating a rapid response task force. These, in my mind, are just a few strategies boards can consider as they are navigating uncertainty.
Helpful. Leah, I know you work with an association that's been monitoring some of the changes. Any suggestions or thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think really building off what Linda said, a lot of groups do not have a large budget, don't have, someone who can be in Washington, D.C., but there's so many opportunities for coalitions. And then just ensuring if you are engaging in that you're feeding that information back to your board and back to your membership, especially right now when it's on everyone's minds. They kind of want to know what you're doing and what's happening. So just that keeping that line of communication open, like how many meetings you're on, what's kind of happening, and sending out, monthly or even weekly emails, if that's possible, is, I think, really helpful at this time.
I think that's a good point. It's a time when people are looking to their professional organizations for insights, and also just to know that somebody's paying attention to what's happening and that there's a response mechanism in place and a way to amplify the voice of the profession. So I think this is another example of when the association community is really vital to different professional organizations and people that work in them. So thanks for reminding us of what that can look like. And I guess as a follow-up, also for you, Leah, would be how would you recommend people attend and participate as board leaders in conversations like these? Be a little different than what they were expecting when they were elected to the board, but it's really important. And so how have you seen people show up, and what's working well with the organizations that you work with?
Yeah, I think a good example recently is we used some of our generative time in a board meeting for our board members to submit topics, and a lot of them were related to kind of what's going on with some of the different things with the changes in administration. And it really gave a platform for them to share the articles, have some talks about how it impacts them on a daily basis, the concerns they had, their nurses. So, there's a lot of impact on their patients. It just gave them that opportunity to share amongst their peers, have an open forum. No decisions had to come out of it, no actions had to come out of it, but just a good, safe space to have those conversations. And I think it was helpful for the board to really understand the perspectives of each other and where they had alignment. And overall, there's a lot of alignment, I think, especially in the nursing community about their concerns right now.
That's a great point. I think it's important for people to have the opportunity to talk about things that are happening and ask questions and learn more in the boardroom. It's not always just a decision-making time. It can be a time to also share information and knowledge. So great. Linda, anything that you want to add to that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I was thinking about, a lot of times it's helpful to be reminded that our board members are also dealing with these same uncertainties in their full-time jobs. And so it's like a double whammy. And so having the opportunity to have the conversation in the boardroom kind of reinforces that they're not in it alone, and that we're all trying to find ways to navigate the challenges.
So in closing, wondered if you had any final thoughts or words of wisdom for our volunteer leaders who are doing such an amazing job helping us make decisions and work through challenging times. So I'll invite Yulia to share any closing thoughts.
Sure. I think one of the things I share with my board is it's really important to stay in existence, to focus on our mission, to look at our strategic plan. The best thing we can do is to stay in existence for these nurses, provide them the resources they need. Whenever we kind of pivot from those, we kind of lose what we want to do. So as long as we're kind of staying true to serving our neuroscience population, that really helps us stay as an organization consistent and relevant to the membership that we serve.
Couldn't agree more. And Linda?
Well, I think fostering a culture of strategic insights will also be helpful for the organizations. I think it's important for board, as we're being more cognizant of the people aspect of it, we also have to be equally as cognizant of the business aspect of it. So I think boards can regularly assess emerging trends, conduct environmental scans, and engage in strategic discussions beyond the immediate concerns, and to be proactive, have a proactive mindset around the association so that it builds confidence and certainly flexibility or agility for the organization. And I think when the members see that kind of proactive engagement, I think it reinforces for them that the organization has their back.
Absolutely. I've also seen some of the associations that we work closely with reinforcing what their values are in addition to their strategic priorities. And I think that's been really helpful for people to remember, again, why they come together to do the work they do and what's important to the organization going forward. So yeah, lots of things to remember and to reflect upon. And I think a lot of the resources that are needed exist, but sometimes it's about looking through them in a different way or considering how to apply them in challenging times. So thank you both for sharing some of your insights and perspectives. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to continuing this important conversation in the future.